It's time now for another edition of the House Whisperer Show on WWDB Talk 860. Stay tuned for expert advice about maintaining your house from the roof to the basement with a guy who knows everything from the top to the bottom and in between, professional home inspector Jack Milne. Hey, Jack, how you doing today?
Well, great, Barry. It's always good to be back on WWDB.
Glad to have you back, and you take it away. You tell us what the agenda is, and we are all ears.
Well, thank you, Barry. Today's topic is going to be about smart meters. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but if you take a look around the outside of your home, left side, right side, front, rear, if you have a blinking meter, you have a new smart meter. If it's going to blink about every 15 seconds or so, where it goes to all eights and then gives you a number, you've already have had your new meter installed. And as a home inspector, I get questions all the time. You know, what do these smart meters do? What are they about? And what can you tell me? So before I get into the topic, as always, I'd like to thank my sponsors because without them, I wouldn't be on the air today. So Pest Blaster, who's actually located out of Hamilton, New Jersey, their phone number is 215-295-5555, and they handle radon, mold testing, wood-destroying insect evaluations, as well as pest removal. So with winter now around the corner, if you've got those critters that are floating around your home and your property, it may be time to give Pest Blasters a buzz. Burrow Exterminating, they're out of Glen Olden, Pennsylvania. They do both termite and radon testing. 610-586-5640. Bucksmont Inspections, they're all about on-site sewage evaluations, and they're located out of Sellersville. So 215-669-4213. Of course, my company, Tri-County Inspection Company, we serve 13 counties in and around Philadelphia, reaching all the way up to the Lehigh Valley and as far south as Salem County in New Jersey. So 610-296-2004 is a good Delaware County number. 610-346-7880 for the Lehigh Valley. And for you folks in North Jersey, 609-882-5188. And, of course, last but not least, brainflushgear.com. They're out there in the web world, so you can contact them literally at contact@brainflushgear.com. The email box, I actually did hear from Gwen from Willow Grove. And I just want to give a little quip here. She goes, Jack, my realtor told me you moved to WWDB. It's great to hear your voice again. Since you did my home inspection, I'm an avid listener. I wish you the best with your new station. And Gwen, thanks for the kind thoughts. And do me a favor and pass the show along to your friends. And as Barry mentioned in the last episode, you can always hear the show at www.dbam.com for the podcasts. And I want to emphasize that this is your show. So email me at the housewhisperershow@gmail.com. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can call any of those numbers at Tri-County Inspection Company, reach out to me, and I'd be happy to get you on the air. So today's topic, smart meters. What's next? Well, let's give a little bit of the background here. In the 1980s, off-peak meters, as they were called, were pretty popular for water heaters. And if you remember those meters, they actually had about a 4 to a 5-inch round globe on the bottom of an individual electric meter, generally rated for 30 amps, and was used primarily for your water heater. And you could use a key, and your electric company could send out their technician, literally set the hours of where the water heater would be turned off. Okay, not on, but off. And think of it as a big timer. And, you can go to your light switch, for example, and flip off a light in a room. But this timer actually shut the water heater off. And especially with electric water heaters, if there was not a need to make hot water, if you're a double income, no children, or if you're an empty nester, then why not turn it off? But the thing is, especially with electric water heaters, the recovery rate was so slow that the electric company also had to make sure that they put on enough hours before you were ready for that morning shower or for the tubs for the kids at night. Now, I've also seen those meters being updated to either 60 amps or 100 amps, and that could work your air conditioner, your dryer, besides just your water heater. So the second generation off-peak meter, removed that 4 to 5 inch round timer, and they went electronic. So it could actually be controlled by the utility. So no one had to come out. You could call them. You could determine what hours you wanted or didn't want to suit your needs. And if you had a family of 4 or 5 and this off-peak meter was making it uncomfortable for you and your family, the meter could actually be removed. So there is a benefit, and there was also a detriment. Come the weekend, these off-peak meters were literally just kept on. Because if you were that double income, no children, by the time you got home on Friday night and you got a chance to exhale a little bit, this is when we were doing our clothes washing and our dishwashing and hopefully sleeping in and taking a longer shower than the normal work week would allow. So weekend rates were not changed. So you could, again, enjoy that 48 hours off. But today, all the meters are electronic and controlled by your local utility. And that's what I tell my ladies during the course of a home inspection, is that nobody comes in to read anything anymore. They don't read your electric meter. They don't read the water meter. They don't do the gas meter. And I have seen them come to my home maybe once every 2 years just to verify that what they're reading electronically is what is actually found on your meter in your basement or in a closet or whatever. So last year, PECO suspended the smart meter program, and some of you may remember that. We got letters in the mail that allowed for a smart meter to be installed on your air conditioners. And they were giving a rebate of, it was $20 a month, so about $80 during the summer season. And the electric utility would put this meter on your air conditioning condensing unit. That's the big box that sits outside. And the theory behind that was if there was a chance of a brownout or rolling outages from PECO itself, they could shut off your air conditioner every 15 minutes per half hour. Now, that has changed somewhat with the new meter that is now installed on your wall. And I don't want to confuse the issue here. One was initially strictly for your air conditioner. One was for your whole home. But I've got some ideas later on in the broadcast as to how to run your air conditioning properly if you have one of those, in quote, smart meters. The problem with some of the new electric meters that they put on your home is some were catching fire. And there were about 186,000 meters that had been installed at that point that had to be replaced because of the threat of fire. And the original manufacturer was released from the contract. I'm sure you've probably heard about it either in the newspaper or on your TV. But there was this anxiety that was going around. Do I have this meter? Do I have that meter? And so it got to a point where PECO had to come back and replace the old new meters with new meters. So they have a brand new manufacturer. So I've been told by PECO that there have been no issues. But initially, when these meters were catching fire, PECO didn't know if it was their meter or if it was something within the home that was generating these issues. Now, the Pennsylvania Utility Commission has approved PECO to accelerate the installation of the new meters to all 1.6 million PECO users by the end of 2014. So that's how many more meters need to be installed before all of PECO's clients are now under this umbrella of the smart meter. With these new meters, there's going to be two types of pricing. One is called time of use. The other is called dynamic. And dynamic pricing will be established by the utility company. But again, we're going to discuss how this pricing issue works in a few more minutes. Currently, 620,000 clients now have their smart meters and allows PECO to spend another $282 million to complete the program 5 years earlier than planned. So there was, to back up a little bit, there was this concern that because of the initial meters catching fire, that everyone was going to step back a little bit and it was going to take longer for this program to take off. Now that PECO has kind of bitten the bullet a little bit, replaced those defective meters with new ones, the Utility Commission has said, okay, you've got 5 more years to get these meters up, but PECO's been doing them so quickly that they gave them the rest of the money to complete this task. By saving the time of 5 years, PECO's going to save about $58 million by eliminating what we call the 2-meter system that are still in place in some areas. Now, what do I mean by that, 2 meters? First off, you've got some areas that have the new smart meter, and maybe 4 blocks down the road, a half a mile away, they have the old style meter. And you can always tell an old style meter because the dial rotates. So, when you're done the show today, if you go outside and you see one of these meters that's still rotating on a clockwise basis instead of counterclockwise, you have not been updated.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jack, we have to take a break, but this is a fascinating subject about these smart meters. So how about if we take a little break and come right back with more with the House Whisperer?
That sounds great, Barry. I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, and you are listening to the House Whisperer Show with Jack Milne at WWDB AM Talk 860 and WWDBAM.com.
So hard. Now everything is easy 'cause of you. And la, 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 la.
Boro Exterminating has been specializing in wood-destroying insect inspection and control for over 40 years, serving Philadelphia and the surrounding counties. All inspectors are state certified and ensure providing their clients with professional inspections and treatments. Boro not only performs conventional termite treatments, but also handles special services like historic buildings and homes with wells, creeks, or ponds. The client is assured that all treatments will be performed safely when you hire Boro to do the work. They also provide radon testing in their service area. Boro's full-time office staff is available to help you schedule an appointment. Just call 610-586-5640 or send an email request to boroinspects@verizon.net. That's 610-586-5640 or email at boroinspects@verizon.net.
Specially created T-shirts by BrainFlushGear.com offer the extreme sports enthusiast an opportunity to have a clothing line available that suits their sport. BrainFlushGear.com understands that when we get the moment where we can jump on our motorcycles, wave runners, surfboards, snowmobiles, or skateboards, it can be priceless. They offer custom artwork including silk screening, transfers, and embroidery. Speak to one of their consultants today, and they'll help you create your own Brain Flush. Visit BrainFlushGear.com or email them at contact@BrainFlushGear.com.
For your septic inspection and testing needs, please consider Bucksmont Inspections. They've been serving the Bucks and Montgomery County areas for over 15 years. As members of the Pennsylvania Septic Management Association, the Pennsylvania Association of Sewage Enforcement Officers, and the Pennsylvania Association for Professional Soil Scientists, Bucksmont Inspections can inspect your existing septic system or test for your new septic system placement. Please call Rob Bowie at 215-669-4213 and say you heard their ad on the House Whisperers Show.
As the weather gets cooler and the temperatures drop, the bugs might slow down, but the rodents don't stop. Mice and rats begin to invade homes during the fall and winter months, looking for food, warmth, and a comfortable place to nest. Don't wait for pesky rodents to invade your home. Fight back. Have your home baited and ready for their attack with Pest Blaster. Whether preventative or a full-blown infestation, give Pest Blaster a call at 215-295-5555 and they can discuss the solution to your problem. They also offer humane animal removal services for a wide variety of wild animals, damage repairs, and cleanups. Call them today at 215-295-5555 or check them out at pestblaster.com, servicing both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Pest Blaster, 215-295-5555 or pestblaster.com for all your pest control needs.
Tri-County Inspection Company has been providing professional home inspections, commercial inspections, and historic property evaluations for over 25 years. Tri-County Inspection Company covers 13 counties, serving both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They've performed inspections for over 70,000 clients and are members of the American Society of Home Inspectors, as well as the Pennsylvania Home Inspectors Coalition. They're licensed in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. For all of your real estate transactions, call Tri-County Inspections at 215-295-2030. For their New Jersey clientele, call 856-853-4224. In PA, call 215-295-2030. In New Jersey, 856-853-4224.
And we are back with the House Whisperer, Jack Milne. He's the man who knows everything about your house from the roof down to the basement. And today he's talking about smart meters. And he's a pretty smart guy to know about all this stuff. And we're going to be smart by listening to him. So, Jack, I'm waiting to hear more.
Well, thank you, Barry. So I just want to let you know that PECO customers right now are paying for the devices to be installed in the Philadelphia and surrounding counties through surcharges that are embedded already in your electric bill. Now, it's not a lot, but it's about $1.53 per month per client who uses over 500 kilowatt hours per month, which is probably most of us. So it's not a killer on the wallet, but listen to what I have to talk about next. Again, billing. What do we need to know? First off, there's two choices. There's time of use pricing, and you can count on this rate going up because what they're trying to do is say, listen, what we want to do is lower your rate during off-peak hours, but raise your rate during peak hours. Now, peak versus off-peak. Peak hours currently are 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, for those of us who are working, that's not bad because we're not home. But if we have, the moms at home with the kids, and we all know that children use more water than we do, or you have the, retired folks who are home all day, this could affect their wallet. And I'm kind of seeing this a lot like Easy Pass. If you've been reading the papers, Easy Pass rates are going up again in January 2014. And it's like 15% increase for those who pay cash, only a 2% increase for those who use their Easy Pass. And it's going to be the same thing with your electric bill. Your dollars spent are going to go up tremendously between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., but then go down for the rest of the schedule. But I can almost guarantee you that it's going to start at 2, but I think at some point it's going to go to noon and then back to 10, and then it's eventually going to go to either 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. in the morning and run till 6. Now, what are our heaviest appliances? I would say it would be our air conditioner, our range, our refrigerator, which we can't turn off, and clothes drying and dishwashing. I think those are your largest appliances that we use on a somewhat daily basis. And if you notice, a lot of our new appliances have timers. So if you can afford to do your laundry later in the night and your dishwasher later in the night or early in the morning, it's actually going to cost you less to operate those devices than if you use them from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Early in the broadcast, we talked about air conditioning. If you have one of the smart meters on your air conditioner, again, that's going to be redundant once your new smart meter is installed because it's already a timer. So if you're going to run your central air conditioning during the summer, and this last summer has been brutal, I ask that you keep your fan to the on position on your thermostat. So during these peak hours, you can actually raise your thermostat to 78 to 80 degrees and leave your fan on. And, yes, it may make your house a little bit more comfortable, but at the end of the day, you're removing the humidity. So anything that I can tell you to do and advise you to help lower your operating costs, this way we all win. So if you're leaving for work and the house is empty all day, raise your thermostat back up. By the time you get home, if that fan remains on all day, you're only bringing your house down a couple degrees, and that'll get you back into your comfort zone. So in October, PECO is going to start advertising smart time pricing for the 620,000 people that already have their meters. Now, customers who enroll will get the two-tier pricing starting in January 2014 and will be fixed until January 2015, or roughly a year. So they're looking for people to sign up within the next month or so. So you're probably like I am. You open up the electric bill, you throw out all the fodder, and you keep the bill in the envelope. Well, you better start reading it because you're going to start talk about this time-of-use pricing and dynamic pricing. And please grasp it because you're going to see a significant difference in your electric bill if you don't. Again, off-peak meter pricing, I believe is going to go down because it will entice you to do some of these heavier load things while the electric grid is not being taxed versus at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, customers who have their new meters can also track their hourly power usage by logging on to www.peco.com. And for what I understand, you can, if you go on right now and check it, you can see your hours of usage, and you can see where your demands are heaviest and where they're lightest. And I think that's a win-win for the client. But the new meters by PECO can also be read every 15 seconds. And I read a great interview a week or so ago with Craig Adams, who is the PECO CEO. And I'm going to quote a little bit of it. The question was, PECO is spending about $800 million to update its distribution system, including installing smart meters by the end of 2014. What benefits do smart meters bring? And his reply was, we've had an automated meter reading system for almost 10 years. We derive a lot of benefit from smart meters in the outage management system. We can ping the meter and determine if power is on or off instead of rolling a truck out to check. We think that Hurricane Sandy saved us about 2,000 or 3,000 truck rolls about 2 days' time. Hurricane Irene, we think we saved maybe $10 million. Another question was, some customers have expressed fear about radio frequency or RF emissions from smart meters. And Mr. Adams' response was, I'm guessing you have a cell phone in your pocket. Most of the customers who are concerned about smart meters probably have a cell phone in their pocket. We're swimming in a soup of RF energy, and the smart meters some distance away from them. So I think that issue will solve itself. So as a house whisperer, folks, I try to keep on top of everything I can so I can relay information to you on a timely basis. And again, I think this is right around the corner, and I ask that you stay on top of this because it's going to affect all of us. I think if we run our houses intelligently and smartly, as smart as these meters are, I think at the end of the day, we're going to have less chance of brownouts and rollouts and stress on the grid. Will it require some personal change? Yeah, I think so. But in most cases, change is good. So if you have any questions for me, please email me at thehousewhisperershow@gmail.com. If you're an older person and there's specific oxygen needs or medical needs that have to be run during the day, I ask that you reach out to PECO and let them know your concerns with some of the equipment so it's not being affected. If you want to put your own water heater on a timer, you can buy something called a gray box, and it's available at your local electric company, and you can turn your own water heater off for certain hours during the day. It's like a light switch. Again, you can turn it off, but you can turn it back on, just allow enough hours for recovery. So next week, we're going to talk about social media for referrals. I'm a member of, or was a member of Angie's List. I've heard of another group called Yelp. And I want to make sure that when it comes to referrals, think about the Internet. Use it as a tool, but I really want you to think about how we can get the best referral for the dollar and make sure that the person who knocks on your door is, in fact, qualified and trustworthy.
You answered one question that I have always had. when do I put my fan switch on and when do I put it off? And you've cleared that up. You put the fan on when you're running the air conditioner, and you put it on automatic when you're running the heat, correct?
Yes, that's absolutely true, Barry. And most of us don't even know about the auto and on switch on our thermostats. So go visit it today, and you're going to see heat off and cool on one side, and you're going to see auto and on the other. And, keep in mind that with the thermostat being on the lowest level, if you keep the fan on auto, well, once that thermostat is satisfied, it's going to turn off. And when it turns off, what happens? Our house temperature on the interior begins to rise again. So it's much more efficient running your air conditioner with the fan to the on position so that the farthest part of the home is at the same temperature as the thermostat, because the thermostat is king. When it's happy, it turns itself off. But in most cases, when we heat, of course, we always want the fan on auto. Let's bring the house up to temperature, let it chill a little bit, let it come back on. So as I tell my clients, you want your heat to have an ebb and flow. But when it comes time to cooling your home, always keep the fan on. If you're lucky enough to get away for the weekend, don't turn your air conditioner off, turn it up.
Good advice, Jack. I'll just say this: that my big prayer is that I get to open the windows for a few days, so I don't need either. But with this weather we've been having, it doesn't work that way. We are out of time.
Well, Barry, as always, as it is Sunday, I always ask that you spend time with friends and family. And you're listening to The House Whisperer on WWDB. We'll see you next week.
And Jack will be back next week, same time, right here at WWDB. Tune in again next week for another edition of The House Whisperer Show with professional home inspector Jack Milne. And by the way, to listen to previous programs, or if you have any questions, visit thehousewhisperershow.com. This is Barry Reisman at WWDB and WWDBAM.com. Thank you so much for listening.
La, la, la.